Welcome back to the conversation of Mom Let's Talk podcast with our very own Dr. Monique Ray. Welcome to episode 7. Thank you for joining. Let's get back into this conversation.
Now I'm healing. Now I'm healing. I'm healed, unashamed. I fell straight through the pain. What was broken is standing again. And I'm healing. Now I'm healing.
We are God's creation. We are all God's creation. Four corners of the earth. We are all God's creation, but we're not all God's sons and daughters. You're
No.
not. In order to be a son and a daughter of God, you have got to be adopted into the kingdom of God through what? The way that Jesus made. This is a moment here.
Yeah.
You really have to give your life to God, surrender your life to God, ask
Mhm.
God to forgive you, ask Jesus to come into your heart. And the yes is, I give you access, Jesus. And so when you come into that covenant now, it's a new covenant,
Mhm.
that personal covenant that yes, you give God access to your life. So somebody right where you are, ask God to forgive you of your sins. Ask him to wash you and cleanse you and make you whole. I don't care if you're in a prostitute house right now, right where you are, begin to call on Jesus. I don't
Yes.
care where you are. If you got an alcohol bottle in your living room, bedroom,
Come on here.
now, woman, I want you to call on him right now and
Yes.
yes, yes, I can't stop doing this by myself. I need you. All he wants is access to come.
Access.
You have
Absolutely.
access because when Jesus died on the cross, he died for free will. He said, those that will accept me, if you will, come. And so
Yes.
an invitation to salvation. It's an invitation to a better life, but you must choose for yourself.
It's a choice.
You must choose Jesus. And so I want to
Yes.
tell somebody, choose Jesus today. Your toughest moment is an opportunity for God to show up for you. Can I say that?
Yes.
Your
Yes.
moment is an opportunity for God to show up because it talked about sowing a life of prayer when her children were little, and she would pat them back to bed until it became a consistency and a norm
Mhm.
for them, right? And so she said it earlier that after a while she no longer had to pat them back because
Yeah.
used to the sound of her prayers and
Yes.
to her prayers because it became a norm. Can I tell somebody this? When Dr. Monique was on the platform and she said, I have to go into prayer, that prayer went before her, but it was the prayer when her children were sleeping that
Yes.
protected her son's eye.
Yes.
Say that?
Yes.
The prayer that she prayed
Yes.
that protected her son's eye.
Yes.
That went is to break the confusion and break the hand of the enemy, but also to give her peace until
Yeah.
here. Come on, that's so good.
Absolutely.
Uh, 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 um, Dr. Monique, this is so good because somebody just received Jesus.
Yes.
Somebody received Jesus in the midst of this conversation. Somebody
Amen. I believe that in my heart. Yes.
here just now. The anointing for healing was just showed up in this interview, and this is my
Amen.
podcast. But we're not talking unless we're talking to God first. So
That's right.
God about our stuff. Moms, let's talk to God about our problems because He's waiting to rescue you. He's waiting. But while God is there to rescue us, He's so infinite that He give us people right in the earth also. So
Yeah.
Dr. Monique, people often talk about needing a village, and you mentioned your village. What did your village look like while you were raising your children, and how the support shaped your journey in having a village?
Oh my God. I have to say, God blessed me with an awesome village. And I mean, to this day, that village is still so impactful in my children's lives. And that village, it makes up of course, my children's father. I thank God. I tell a lot of women, and let me help you moms out here. This because the relationship
Come on.
did not work
Come on.
between you and him. It is okay for him to move forward, and it is okay for you to move forward. But if you have children together for the best interest of the children, co-parent together, it is healthy for the children so that the children can see this healthy atmosphere. Because what this shows them, it shows them the maturity, it shows them strong family values, and it shows them that no matter the outcome, family matters. And I thank God that even though the relationship did not work, their father and I did an excellent job at co-parenting our sons. So I thank God that we were able to co-parent. So I have to say, first and foremost, he definitely was at the top of the village. I thank God for my mom. I thank God for my brother. I thank God for my late aunt who passed away. I thank God even for Apostle Meredith Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, he was so impactful in my children's life, and he even to this day he still is. I thank God. I can say that my children have had some strong men in their lives. Their dad, Apostle Meredith Jordan. I thank God for Pastor Jimmy Tomlin. I mean, they have been impactful in my children's lives. I thank God for Apostle Meredith Jordan's daughter, Tamara. I mean, I remember the time that when the boys were younger and they were in PAL, Rashawn, Jalen, and Manuel. We used to coordinate, the three of us, me and Tamara and Apostle Jordan, as to who was going to pick the kids up from PAL. And so it wasn't always just on me. We coordinated. And I'm telling you, it takes a village. It takes a village to be able to have that support. I thank God for the late Earl Norbit. I thank God for that village that I had as a support. When I had my children, my dad had passed away, and that was my mom's friend at the time, Earl Norbit, and he was there at the birth of both of my children. That was their grandfather. That was the only grandfather that they knew. And I thank God he stepped in to be that. And so it is so important that when you have children, you have that village, that you have that support. And I thank God that even to this day, even though my children are not small children, even though my oldest is 19 and my youngest is 16, soon to be 17, they still have that relationship. They still have that impact in their lives. And I'm grateful because I didn't have to do it by myself.
Good. That's good. I love that. And what you said was key to what I heard you talked about the village. Because oftentimes we have village of women only, right? And I love the fact that your village had so many men in it. Because I think it's important that men should impact boys and,
Yes.
and young men and shape them into the man that they're becoming, right? And so I love the fact that you said also that their father is at the top, the number one on the village. And I often said that not because a relationship doesn't work, that means we need to become enemies. I think that it's important, especially when children are involved, that it becomes a healthy relationship of co-parenting. It becomes healthy because when you raise healthy children, you show healthy relationship to children, they grow up healthy themselves and they form healthy relationship, and they understand when if they enter one as an adult that's not healthy, they have something positive to look back at. Like, no, 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 there's something better than this. Life is not always disagreement, life is not always disunity, but there is a unity. And so I thank God for your village. I thank God for the village that helped shape your young men, but was a great support to you, right? I thank God. We all need village, and I think that even how I see you show up for others, it shows that you're playing it forward. So I want to tell somebody, when you have had a village, play it forward and become a
Yes.
village to somebody else, right?
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
just think about what you need, but what can I sow back into someone because someone sowed into me. And I want to add something else to that, right? I want to say this because a lot of times, if I could bring it to the church, relationships end in the natural, a man and a woman, and you find sometimes turmoil, right, to end. But you described a healthy separation, a healthy breakup, and I really want to see that for the kingdom. That's one of the things that's on my prayer list, is that we can outgrow someplace, we can separate from someplace that we have worshipped, and still because we're no longer at that place, that there was a foundation set there. There was something transferred. There was a bonding. And I don't think that when we leave churches that we should leave church with that same breakup mentality, right? I don't think
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
I
I agree with you.
want to
I
see
agree with you.
guys do better at is breaking up or outgrowing each other in a healthier way, right? In
Mhm.
I love that. I love that. So we're almost at the end, Dr. Monique. We're almost at the end.
Yes, and I agree with you 100%, sis. Because we don't see that a lot in the kingdom, and I do agree with you 100%. When even in the kingdom, the same way how you do it in the natural, even in the kingdom, if there is a breakup, give honor where honor is due. The same way that that place was beneficial for you,
Yes,
when you was growing there, when
yes,
you leave, give honor where honor is due, and recognize that honor and
yes,
move on in grace,
yes,
and speak well. Speak well, because the regardless to what may or may not have happened, it was beneficial at whatever point it was beneficial, and things happen. But move on in grace and speak well and give honor where honor is due. Because at the end of the day, we serve a God of honor, a God of honor, a God of unity, a God that's of one accord, and that's how we should carry ourselves as kingdom believers and as kingdom ambassadors.
absolutely. I totally agree with you with that. And I want to say, because we don't want to always talk on one side of the coin. Let's talk. Don't be afraid. We shouldn't be afraid to talk on two sides of the coin. And I think that if also when a relationship ends, if you have sown there, I think that your name too should not be scandalized, or you should be spoken well of, or just leave it and still build a bond, because it's a sowing and a reaping at the same time. We both benefit, right? So
Absolutely.
also important to talk about being a healthy leader, and know when a child is growing up and time to leave the nest, that we bless them to leave the nest, right? It is
Amen.
important. That is important. And so let's go into this. We're almost at the end. You use the analogy of riding a train and hearing God say, "Not yet." How do you stay encouraged and continue to pour into others when you feel ready for the next stop, but God is asking you to remain? And when you heard God say not yet, what was that? I don't want you to have to go into full detail, but what is that not yet represented for you without even if you don't have to go into full detail. But what did that not yet, because it's impactful when you desire something and God say not yet, when God say wait, it's not easy to wait. So what did that mean to you, and how did you feel that, and when God says no, you can't get off here, not here, he said remain. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel like what? Because a lot of times, again, a lot of times we can think that, okay, I did everything you asked me for, and God be like, did you? Are you sure about that? And so when I look back at where I started from back in 2017 and with what God gave me to birth in 2017, with everything that I've birthed so far, I would never ever have imagined
Mm.
half of all of this. I mean, it was not in my scope. Can I say that? It was not in Monique's scope. But again, it was my scope. And so when I look at all the things and I'm like, say what? I'm like, wait a minute. I, I'm like, wait a minute. I just imagine just a women's ministry. But I thank God that, God allowed me to birth Gems for Christ Women's Ministry in 2017. But as of today, it superseded that. And now it's a women's ministry. And now God allowed me to birth Gems Empowerment Organization.
Wow.
And I would have never thought that I would have a nonprofit organization that God would have given me to birth, where we're out in the community and servicing our community, and we're active in the community. And now God has us in the community. He has us distributing food in our community in District 31 and Queens. And he has us going into the shelters and servicing in the shelters and impacting lives. And it's not a women's shelter, but it's a family shelter. And so now he has me impacting more than just women's lives, but now he has me impacting women, men, and children lives. And if anybody would have told me that I would have been sitting on clergy councils within the government, I would be like, who? Not me. And so it was bigger than what I ever thought, imagined, dreamed, or even expected. And so I want to tell any mom out there, never box God in.
Mm.
Never think that what God gives you to birth, never box it in. Because you want to make God laugh, box him in. And he's going to show you, is that what you thought? Not yet, because there's more. And every time you think you're getting to the end of a thing, he's going to be like, is that what you thought? No, not yet. And so every time you think that I've gotten to the place where I have nothing else to pour out, or I have nothing else to contribute, or I have nothing else to give, God be like, is that what you think? No, not yet. And so when I look at where I started at and I look at where I'm at now, and I'm like, okay, God, what can I have now to offer and stuff? He said, well, now you're moving over into a new phase now. And now you're moving over to a phase of wisdom now. And so now you're pouring out wisdom now. Why? Because you lived and you've gone through things, and you didn't just go through, but you survived and you are an overcomer. And now, not only did you survive and you overcome, but guess what? You have the scars to prove what you've gone through. And even though you don't look like what you've gone through, and because you don't have to look like what you've gone through, but you can stand before the people and you can pour out to the next generation, and you can help the next generation to come up. You can help them be that gem that they're striving to be. And so it's not yet. And so I'm just here to encourage that next mom that may be sitting and thinking that there's nothing in you to pour out, or you have nothing to offer, or you may be searching for your purpose, or you're not sure about your purpose, or you're not sure about your destiny, or you're not sure about what's the next stage. Well, I want to tell you, the first place first and foremost to find it is the birthing room, the prayer chamber. Start there. You get clarity there. You get instructions there. You get strategy there. And then once when you start there and you get the instructions and you get the strategy and you get the blueprint, then he will show you and navigate and guide you to the next phase, the next step. But I wanna put a pin and I want to put a clause there. If you're not sure and you don't want to know the next, don't go into the prayer chamber. Don't play in that prayer chamber, because I'm telling you, if you go in there wanting to know and you're really tuned into him, he's going to tell you. But be prepared for the next.
Be prepared for the next. My God, I love it. And so I love that because not yet means don't give up yet. Not
Don't give up.
throw in the towel yet. Not yet, don't doubt what's inside of you. So sometimes not yet is not always about something that you want.
Mhm.
It's so not yet. Don't stop yet. Not yet. It's not over yet. Not
It ain't over yet.
get it from what she's saying. And so sometimes the not yet could be that, and sometimes the not yet is the thing you desire, the thing you want. God said not yet. And so when God said not yet to those things, it doesn't mean that He doesn't want to bless you. It doesn't mean that
Mhm.
He's not deserving of it. It's just that He's trying to get you to the place that you need to be fully. I remember when God told me not yet to marriage, right?
Mhm.
God showed me a husband when I was 23 years old. I was in my domestic issue, and I thought that I was gonna die there. And God said, you might have heard this in another podcast. And God says, there's a husband. He gave me hope. But as my journey continued through life, it was always not yet. It was always not yet. And so I was 23 and I got married, what, at 50, some 51 years old, something like that. I got married. And so those 30 something years of waiting, 32 years I waited. And when God says not yet, is not because you're not deserving or you're not worthy, is that God sees your future more than you see it. God sees
Yes.
the stumbling block before you see it. God
Yes.
sees what you're not ready to handle before you. So when God says not yet, sometimes in order to find that peace in the not yet, like Dr. Monique says, go into the secret place, go into your prayer chamber, create a prayer chamber if you don't have one. That could be your bathroom, it could be your bedroom, it could be any little place that you can sneak away by yourself. Your car, it could be your prayer chamber. And so, find that place where you can
Mhm.
commune with God, where you can talk to God, because He said, I'll give you peace that surpasses all understanding.
Understanding.
You can't fathom what, no, God. When God give you a vision like gems, and you say, God, I don't know what else to give to the women. No, no, no. Keep on going and go before God, because God will reveal. Can I say this? This podcast, God gave me this podcast in 2021. God gave me this podcast, and Dr. Monique, I was afraid to step out. I saw people doing podcasts. As a matter of fact, to be transparent, the first when God gave me this, it was called Red Table Talk.
Oh, wow.
Step out. I didn't step out because I was afraid to do it. And then someone who is in the public start right at the same time God gave it to me. They literally started the same podcast, and I just did like this. I shrunk back.
Mm.
I
Oh, wow.
back because there was no way I could go and start a podcast with the same name.
Yes.
It would become an issue. And then, but the enemy, this is what the enemy does to the mind. The mind is the battlefield. And the enemy made me feel like I was not worthy of it. It was too good for me. I wasn't good enough to do a podcast. So I put it to the side. And I told God not yet. What happened when God is ready for you and you tell God not yet? What happened when God is taking you somewhere and you tell God not yet? When God to you to birth. And so I put it to the side, and I see podcasts just popping up over the years after the pandemic.
Mhm.
Or they're popping up, and I felt like there's no room for me. Oh, I want to talk to somebody today. I felt like there was no room for me. And I heard God say to me at the end of last year into this year, He said, daughter, you're at your turning point. And He said, I'm going to stretch you in 26 like never before. He said you got to step out and do. See, you want something from God, but God is waiting for that obedience that He told you to give Him
Yes.
before you
Yes.
obey that. How you want the next when you didn't obey the first or the second or the third or the fourth? You
Yes.
didn't obey it. And so I didn't, I want to encourage somebody. I didn't
Mhm.
step out and do the podcast, but God said to me, everything that I've given you to do, you have to do it this year. And everything that God told me I had to do, we're in the third month. The fourth month. We just entered the fourth month of the year, but I accomplished it in the third month of the year because God gave me until the third month to begin to put everything out. What I'm saying is, when I started this Mom's Let's Talk podcast, I found my voice because
Mhm.
I got a preacher voice, but I found
Mhm.
the voice in the realm of podcasts. When
Yes.
I realized that it was in me. I want to
Yes.
somebody who count themselves out.
Yes.
You telling God not yet, but God say now is the time. You
Yes.
telling God not yet, but God knows more than you know. He knows more than I know. So I wanted to tell you, if God tell you not yet, wait on God.
Yes.
Stay busy. Stay,
Yes.
but if you telling God not yet,
Yes.
don't trust you, trust God.
Yes.
Don't trust your decisions or what your lens see. Trust
Yes.
the process because this podcast is not about me. This
Yes.
podcast is about what God is trying to do through me. And I
Yes.
am loving this Mom's Let's Talk podcast. I'm loving it. And so I gave myself an accountability when I wrote the book and I put that Mom Talk podcast in the book because I was still trying to make myself accountable now. So when
Mhm.
the red table to that, and I made myself accountable, but I still didn't step out until God gave me an ultimatum.
Mhm.
Obedience is not obedience if you're not fully obeying God.
That's right. That's right.
And
That's right.
and start the podcast. And so I thank God for this platform that allows us women and men are going to come on that is going to be able to have a conversation. And this conversation is healthy, is whole, and this
Yeah.
conversation welcomes positive comments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so this is to let somebody else know that you can make it, you can overcome, and you can do this. This is our final question, our final question to you. To close us out, Dr. Monique, what's one hidden gem within you that you may have overlooked or doubted, as I doubted Mom's podcast, right? And what one step you can now take to allow that gem to truly shine without giving too much if something is in the birthing room.
So, one hidden gem that I did doubt. That's a tricky one. But one hidden gem that I did doubt that I want to piggyback on something that my sister just said that is part of one of the hidden gem that I kind of doubted. And so it's so important. I want to encourage you, moms. It's so important that you birth everything that God placed inside of you to birth. And I'm going to tell you why. Because we can want certain things to come into our lives. And I tell all single women that God can get the most out of you in your singleness. And the reason why he can get the most out of you in your singleness is because it's just you and God. And so while what he's placed inside of you is just so easy for you just to birth it. Because I remember even when I had birthed the podcast back, I think, during the COVID as well, because you sis was on one of them. And so it's very easy to just like birth. And that's why I felt that I was coming to like the end of it, the end of everything. It was like, oh my God, it's nothing else left. It's nothing else left. It's nothing else left. And one of the things that I was like, okay, God, it's nothing else left. I don't all that you asked me to do and stuff. And it was one thing that I felt that, okay, God, that I stopped thinking about, and it was about my personal life, where I was like, oh my God, I've done all that you asked, and I didn't focus on it anymore and stuff. Like, okay, so when I'm gonna get a chance to have me and stuff. But I want to encourage some single women out here that give God what He asks you for. And when you pour out and you give God what He asks you for, when you least expect it, He will reward you.
Yeah.
And you will not see it coming, but He will reward you.
Yes, He will.
And when He rewards you, you will be like, what? And it will bless your whole life. It really will bless your whole life. And it will make you also grateful, because it will put you in a different phase in life. And so when I look back on my life, and I think back, because that was one part of my life that I kind of just like gave up on, sis. Like, I did. It was like, you know what, whatever. And, I'm good and stuff. But I'm grateful today, is
Amen.
all I'm going to say.
Amen. Thank you so much for sharing. What a powerful, powerful interview this was. Thank you so much, Dr. Monique. And what we never talked about is so much to cover, but we couldn't cover everything. And I know that you have heard it from the conversation, you hear it from her voice, you hear it that not only is she the founder of Gems of Christ, but she's Dr. Monique Ray. She is a prophetess and she is a pastor. So as we're about to end this, I want you to take 1 second or less and just begin to prophesy, because we're not just only here to talk to moms, but we want to talk, like you said, to single women. We want to talk to motherless women that are not yet have a children, or have outgrown your children. Have, your children outgrew, they're not babies anymore, they're not in the house, they're out of the house. So you're back to being a single woman. Amen. I just want to talk and just take 1 second and just begin to prophesy to those gems that's out there. Come on.
Let me prophesy to every area of gem that's out here, whether you are a single gem, whether you are a gem with children that is in the house, whether you're a gem with children that is no longer in the house and is in college, or whether you're a gem with children that is married, whatever phase that you fall in as a gem, I want to prophesy into your life, and I want you to know, shine and understand that you are valued. Shine and understand that you are necessary. Shine and understand it is not over for you yet. Shine and understand that God has more for you. Understand that whatever phase that God has you in, whatever phase God is moving you in, embrace it. Embrace it and own it. Own who God created you to be. Because why? You have found your identity in God. And now that you have found your identity in God, you're able to now flow and navigate through the things of God. Why? Because now you are in the will of God, and you have aligned your heart in God, and your posture is in God, and now you're rooted and grounded in God, and no demon and devil can pluck you out of God. And so now you have no choice but to shine in God and flourish in God. And so as you continue to shine and move forward in the things of God, understand that his promises that have he spoken over your life are yea and amen. Everything that he's promised you, it shall come to pass. Every prophecy that he has spoken over your life, it shall come to pass. Why? Because your yes qualified you for it. Why? Because the question qualified you for it. Why? Because God said it and it's going to come to pass. Understand that the breaking of you was the making of you. Understand that God was only stretching you. My God, from Zion, he was only stretching you because why? He had to stretch you and enlarge your capacity to hold what he has equipped you to be able to carry and to birth. My God, so he had to make room. He had to make room. So he had to stretch the capacity to make room for what he has placed inside of you. This is your birthing season. My God, you are not finished yet. You're not wrapped up yet. But my God, there's more pouring. There's more pouring. There's more pouring. Why? Because you chose to stay on the potter's wheel. You see, when you could have gotten off the potter's wheel, you didn't, but you chose to stay on the potter's wheel. You chose to stay in the potter's hand. And it's because you chose to stay in the potter's hand, the potter continued to work on you. He continued to take those pebbles out of you. He continued to take out everything that was not pleasing in his eyesight. You see, he continued to, my God, from Zion, to strip you of everything pertaining to you, my God, so that he can transform you into his own identity, my God, from Zion, so that when others look at you, they did not see your DNA, but they can only see the DNA of Christ, my God, from Zion, the blood of Christ that died on Calvary, my God. So it does not matter what your past did, my God, from Zion. It does not matter what you've done in your past, my God. Understand that Christ's blood covered it all. My God, from Zion, the blood that was shed on Calvary, it redeemed you, it restored you, it renewed you, and it qualified you for everything that God promised you.
So good. My God. My God. My God. My God. Thank you. My God. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Monique, for joining us. And thank you all for tuning in to episode 7 of Mom's Let's Talk podcast. See you soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And let someone know Mom's Let's Talk podcast is doing its thing. This episode of Mom's Let's Talk podcast is sponsored by Dr. Monique Ray and Gems for Christ Women's Ministry. Join her and tune into her for her fellowship times on Saturdays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, where you can meet her. You can find her on Facebook at Dr. Monique Ray, or you can find her on social media, Gems for Christ Women's Empowerment Ministry.